While Max Verstappen continues to dominate Formula One, leaving Hamilton behind both on track and off track, it seems Hamilton is still looking to prove he is the better driver. And as a result, the recent comments made by him about rival Verstappen has left many, including Max, to label him as jealous. It may not just be Max that Lewis is commenting on, but other Red Bull drivers also. Lewis Hamilton is no stranger to controversy and has never been one to shy away from expressing his opinions. Hamilton, 7-time world champion, has been vocal about his thoughts on Verstappen's success and has even compared him to other drivers and his own teammates, suggesting Verstappen's success may be due to factors other than his driving ability. In response, Verstappen has hit back at Hamilton, suggesting that the Mercedes driver may be jealous of his current success and even saying that Mercedes are having a hard time dealing with losing after being dominant for so many years. In other words, sore losers. Let's take a closer look into the recent fiery exchange between Hamilton and Verstappen. It all started when Hamilton spoke to Sky about his newly signed Mercedes contract. When he spoke about the teammates he had throughout his career, he ended up comparing them to Verstappen's teammates at Red Bull, claiming that Max's teammates, both past and present, were never on the same caliber as his own. Lewis got even more fiery, shrugging off Max's current success, believing it is nothing special, and that it is just the same as when other drivers had been at the top of the sport. I'm no more impressed than when Michael Schumacher was leading, when Sebastian Vettel was leading, when Kimi Raikkonen was driving, when Fernando Alonso was winning. It's just the same. I think the Red Bull team as a whole is one of the strongest. They're firing on all cylinders right now. The car is incredible. The drivers are doing an amazing job. Very consistent. The pit crew is doing a good job. The mechanics are doing a good job. Strategy is doing a good job. On point. You can't fault them. In my personal opinion, all my teammates have been stronger than the teammates Max has had. Jenson Button, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Rosberg. I've had so many. These guys have all been very, very strong, very consistent, and Max has not raced against anyone like that. Verstappen, speaking at this week's Italian Grand Prix, when asked about these comments, hit back with his own, labeling Hamilton as jealous and also claiming Mercedes are having a hard time dealing with losing after their dominant reign. Maybe he's a little jealous of my current success. This kind of statement, he possibly thinks he's winning something with that, but it makes no difference to me. I think Mercedes have a very hard time dealing with losing. After all these years of winning so much, at some point, you have to be realistic and then you have to be able to appreciate what other teams are doing. We did the same when they were dominant, and we also said we have to work harder because we are not good enough. You can keep shouting and screaming that what we do is not that special. You just have to deal with yourself. Looks like Max is strongly reminding Lewis to stay in his lane, adding more fuel. In the list of supposedly better teammates than that of Verstappen's, Hamilton included George Russell on that list, which would mean he's saying that Russell is better than veteran Sergio Perez. But is this claim too bold, or is it true? This week's Italian Grand Prix featured a tense battle between Hamilton's teammate George Russell and Verstappen's teammate Sergio Perez. After the race, Russell made a smug comment about the Red Bull driver Perez, with the Brit smirking and being surprised that it took Perez so long to pass in a superior car. I was surprised how long it took Checo to pass with the superior pace of that car. They were so fast in the high-speed corners. We saw it yesterday, probably a factor into their better tyre degradation than the rest of us. But I was really pleased to hold him off for that long and felt good and confident under braking into turn 1. There's something satisfying about it when you do manage to hold a car off like that for so long. So I take a small positive in that there was no mistake from my side in those laps, but unfortunately the pace just wasn't there today. It didn't seem like it was too much a calm job to hold off the Red Bull for Russell, who expressed his difficulty on the radio. The 25-year-old was told by his mechanic, "George, we suggest more management at 6, turn 6, to which Russell replied, "I don't know if you can see, but I've got a car right up my A." Russell finished the race in 5th, ahead of teammate Hamilton in 6th, with Red Bull claiming a 1-2 finish to set 15 wins in a row and Verstappen claiming a 10th consecutive win. Even just before 2021, the rivalry between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen has been one of the most talked about topics in the world of Formula One. With Hamilton being vocal on Verstappen's success, is he saying these things from the sidelines, or is he saying it with an intent to bring it on track? Hamilton and Verstappen's rivalry has been described as potentially one of the greatest in F1 history, up there with Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher versus Mika Hakkinen, James Hunt versus Niki Lauda, and other legendary duels that define F1. The build-up to their rivalry began when Verstappen burst onto the F1 scene with Toro Rosso in 2015 and showed increasingly frequent glimpses of his brilliance. It felt inevitable that there would be a reckoning between the established legend and the rising star. But it wasn't until 2021 that Red Bull produced a car equal to the task. Lewis Hamilton recently signed a 2-year contract extension with Mercedes to remain on the Formula One grid until the end of the 2025 season. This new contract will see Hamilton race on into his 40s as he attempts to take a record 8th F1 championship, and means he will almost certainly see out his career with Mercedes. Hamilton's extension continues his quest to claim one of the few F1 records he does not hold outright: World Championship wins. He is currently tied with Michael Schumacher on 7, having seen the 2021 title snatched from his grasp at the final moment before Mercedes' failure to successfully grasp F1's new technical regulations saw him out of championship contention in 2022 and again this year in 2023. But does this new contract spell one final push at an 8th? Hamilton and Mercedes may have something up their sleeve, but it's not what we think, since the contract is too short for Lewis to stay for the new engine regulations in 2026. It looks like Mercedes may have faith in taking on the task of beating Adrian Newey when it comes to the machinery. For them to do that before the new regulations in 2026, it will be very hard. What do you think? Can they pull it off? Is Hamilton right in what he's saying about Verstappen? Is Hamilton just jealous? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to never miss the latest news and analysis within the world of Formula One.